Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam, just don't call me Sammy. And I am here with the beautiful and stunning Brittany Caldwell. She goes by Brittany. She goes by Britt, according to Instagram. Is there anything you don't want people to call you?
You can call me something as long as you do.
There we go. There we go. I love that. Well, I am here with Brittany today. She is going to talk about a new product she's launching and what that looks like, starting a business, creating a product, I'm sure the highs and the lows and what that product is. But a little bit about Britt, you can fill me in too. She's got a background in fitness. She is an NBA dancer for the Charlotte Hornets, also known as the Honeybees. Am I right in that?
That's it.
So it's so much more like approachable than a hornet, I think, a honeybee. So I like that.
Fair enough. I love it.
Yes. We got connected through indoor cycling, but I know that you also teach dance, right? And you have your own business. Do you have like your own fitness program as well?
So I teach dance, and then I also do performance work for athletes and dancers. So that is like anything from mobility, rehab, performance enhancement, injury prevention, all of that stuff.
Amazing. And my friends, this woman can dance. Like I will get sucked into her videos. She is so incredibly talented. You can find her on Instagram, Brittany MSC. But we're here to talk today mostly about a new product she's creating called GO BRAZEE.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Crazy like Brazy.
Crazy like Brazy. I was like sitting here and I was like, I bet it's like crazy, but brazy. So I want to hear all about it. But before we do, we kick off every show with the 3 things you need to know. So Britt, let us know, what's the first thing that people need to know?
I think the first thing that people need to know is I actually have a chemical engineering degree. That's my undergrad.
That is good intel because that's going to answer a lot of the questions that I think I have coming up. That's amazing. So what made you pursue that degree in college? I'm just so curious.
When I was younger, I loved science, I loved math, and I was in the gym one day, and there was a guy in there who worked at a company in my hometown. It's an international company. They're a paper company, and he said, you're smart, you're talented. You can make a lot of money if you go and take that science and math that you love and go far with it. So I said, okay. And that's how I essentially became a chemical engineer by degree.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing for us to know. That just sounds like a very challenging. Engineer anything, it starts to go over my head. So people add that word in and I'm like, they're too smart for me.
We always said smart enough to get in, dumb enough to stay in. That was our like running thing throughout college.
Well, what then is the second thing that people need to know?
I'm obsessed with helping people. No matter what it is, I love to offer a hand, whether that's like helping other businesses, helping people improve their performance. I like to say I'm a big kid for a living because I just find joy in helping other people become better.
You can feel that from your social media presence. Like it just feels very welcoming. I see that you work with kids, you got pictures with kids. I was kind of, creeping the other night just to make sure that I was up to speed with everything. And it looked like there was a young woman who recently made the dance team and you had posted this cute reel with her and just, you can feel the love that you give to others. So I absolutely believe that that's very real and genuine about you. What's the third thing that the people need to know?
I love baking cookies. Oh. I bake cookies around the clock, especially this time of year. That's what I'm doing if I'm not doing anything else.
I was going to say, this is about to be your season then. We are getting into true cookie season.
Yeah. And I put my Christmas tree up on the 31st of October. You can tell anybody, tell your friends that I am that person. That is me. Didn't wait till 12 o'clock.
Yes, we are putting our tree up tonight. My daughter is so stoked. I surprised her this morning. I was like, when you get home from school, we're doing the tree. And she's super excited. Too, we're putting up the tree and we're also going to Crumble Cookie to do a taste test today. So as someone who bakes a lot of cookies, how do you feel about places like Crumble Cookie? Do they compare? Or are you like, no, I'm making my own at home?
I'm always going to make my own at home. I've become the designated cookie maker on my team to the point that whenever there's any
Yes.
gathering or social event, I think our first practice, I made a batch of cookies for the team. I know how I want them to taste, and if they don't meet my expectations, I'm like, oh man, they've got to be nice and soft, got to be barely baked, gooey.
Yep.
Like that's how we do it.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah, you nailed it with the like barely baked, like gooey, soft. It's gotta be. Gotta
Oh
be.
yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for those great three things. Now we know just a little bit about you, but can you maybe share to get us to where you are today that you've created this it's an energy drink. I'll kind of give it
Mhm.
away there, but you're creating this product, Go Brazy, but how did you get to this point? Kind of briefly, like your background. Now we know you have a chemical engineer degree, you have a fitness background, but what did the last couple years look like that led you to this?
I originally started the idea for this in 2019. And where I was in 2019 was, just grinding, 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 trying to get everything done. I was sun up to sundown working, whether that was teaching cycling, working with athletes, in the dance studio, in rehearsal, games, all the things. And I always used to joke, I'm always caffeinated, never hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2019, I had the idea, but at the time, I knew that it was a capital intensive product build. And at the time, I was just essentially too scared. And I didn't necessarily have people in my corner that were like, yes, you can do this. So I kind of slept on it. I actually did a lot of advertising and marketing for a brand that people know very well. And that's kind of when I learned, there's not necessarily a brand that speaks to people who are like myself. I'm not like your I go to the gym to look really cute girl,
Mm-hmm.
but I respect girls who do that. You look cute, honey. I
Sure.
love it for you.
Yeah.
I kind of go to the bed. I go to the gym, roll out of bed because I go so early in the morning. I'm like, if you see me, hi. If you don't, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the time, that was very brand for them, and so I never necessarily felt like I fit their mold of people who were very influential. But I knew the influence I had in the community in Charlotte with their brand. And so I
Sure.
kind of sat on it and just pumped the brakes. I was like, okay, I'll continue to do this. And then fast forward to last summer. And fun fact, I was actually working on a cider company before this in 2020.
Okay.
And then kind of tabled that because we couldn't get it to taste right. One of my friends and I, we were making it in batch and home.
Wow.
But then I came back to it last summer and I was like, you know what? There's just something missing for the community of people who work similar to me, whether it's my teammates, other dancers, artists of all kinds, whether it's music artists, painters, designers, everybody. Um, I want to try to make this happen. And then I reached out to the right person. I say the right person because this person said to me, if you don't have $1 million in capital, I don't want to talk to you about this until you're ready. And
Mm.
I said, okay, let me do my research and figure out what it really takes.
Yeah.
And I did my research and I found a very awesome company that I'm working with that has made my formula. I said, this is what I want it to taste like. Make it happen with these
Wow.
guidelines. I work with athletes, so things like NSF approval is important for them. Making sure that it's not an beverage that is on their banned substances list because of the combined ingredients. And
Right.
essentially, in Go Brazy Energy, you've got all natural caffeine, which is a 100% organic green coffee bean, which has a lot of performance benefits. But it's also got electrolytes for hydration, and then several vitamins, B vitamins, and then it also starts cheering. So all the things that are in the Go Brazy energy drink are things that athletes typically consume in several products put together. And so, for the most part, these guys and these girls can have this beverage and not worry about NCAA rules or any of those kinds of things going into it. So, yeah, I had the company, they put it all together for me, and I tasted it. We went through about 3 different rounds of tasting, and I got to the final one, and I was like, because another major key for it was I wanted it to be zero or low calorie with zero to no carbs.
Yeah.
And that was the kicker where I was like, we're either going to get this right or it's not going to work. And you can tell me it doesn't work, but I would love for us to get it right. And they got it right. So I was able to come up with a
Mm.
0 calorie, 0 sugar energy drink that's all natural caffeine with health benefits. So yeah, that took to get the formula right. I think we started the formula in October and then
Okay.
finished it in the end of January.
Wow.
So that was about a 5-ish month process that I thought would take like, I don't know, 3. So I'm learning,
Yeah.
time is of the essence, but patience is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where it started to get the formula. And now we had our first production date in August and then ran into a production hiccup, which has been a very interesting challenge on
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah.
And as of today, I'm manifesting that I have this product in Charlotte, North Carolina by the end of November. That is what we're
Yes.
manifesting.
I'm all about manifesting. I have to go back to when you said 0 calories, 0 sugar. As someone who lives with type 1 diabetes, having drink options, especially when it's energy drinks and nutritional benefits that are no carb or low carb, are just so crucial for me because I don't want to take a bunch of insulin to drink that Gatorade or like things like, other types of
Yeah,
sports drinks. And sometimes it's necessary.
right.
But most of the time for me, it's way easier to manage if I have beverage options that are low carb, no carb are like crucial. And then too, like with a lot of the energy drinks out there, like I don't touch them because of some of the ingredients and I want natural. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
My caffeine, I don't do pre-workout or anything. It's coffee. Like it's coffee. So, I'm hearing you name all these ingredients. And actually, when I was looking at your page, I was like, oh, hell yes. Hell yes. This is great. And I don't know of a lot of other energy drinks that are like really this clean and like well-rounded.
I mean, I wanted to bring something to the market that was very like cut to the chase, no BS, because there's so much. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's you can hand over fist things when it comes to cutting corners.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of common in the beverage space is to cut corners. And I was like, you know what? I don't mind spending the extra to produce this because the high value that it brings to the product. I think better for you options are steadily on the rise. And being able to say better for you, 0 to no sugar is very, very hard to find. And to the
Yeah.
point where our intro to the internet, I guess you could say, when I was building the brand online, was I wanted people to know what the key ingredients are in this beverage. So when you pick it up and you turn the can around, you know what you're getting yourself into because I don't want any surprises. I don't want anyone to see, well, this did this and that to me. I'm like, well, if you drink a venti iced coffee from Starbucks, we've got the same amount of caffeine in this 12-ounce can that a venti iced coffee from Starbucks has. And if
Yeah.
that doesn't give you these like insane jitters and make you go crazy, this shouldn't give you those insane jitters, but you can go crazy.
Right. You can go brazy. That's amazing. So you had said something really key here that healthier beverage options are on the rise. So getting into this, has there been any concern about how competitive this market is?
Yes. And I think competition is always going to exist in any aspect of life.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm very thankful for my circle, my family, and the way they uplift me in all times. And it's easy to be like, well, there's 1,000 energy drinks on the market. How are you going to separate yourself? And I think the key to separating my brand from every other brand is recognizing that it's mine. And
Yeah.
I know what I can bring to the table that sets it apart because every other CEO isn't me in their company. And we don't think like, and that's okay. That's what makes our world so diverse. And acknowledging that versus using that as intimidation is what I use to fuel our journey. And I think it's cool. Like I actually take a lot of insight and how we're going about the brand from a very large competitor of ours. But in my mind, instead of saying I want to kick you off the shelf, I'm like, I want to sit next to you. And I want to offer people the choice to choose what they want in this space. Because and you'll know exactly who I'm talking about when you see us on the shelves next to them. But essentially, it's like everybody has their favorites. And I'm not going to knock your favorite out of your hand and say you can't choose that one. But I'm going to say, how about try this? Give it a shot and let me know what you think. And then pray that people come back and turn to it, which is what's happened with the people that have tested it so far. So it's pretty cool to see. But, again, kind of just like locking into knowing who I am and then what I want this brand to be and what I want it to stand for, I think is what will always set it apart.
That's such a great mindset and just so well said. I have like some brands in my mind that, you know, like you're going to sit next to on the shelf, but, and like to your point, there are so many people in this world and there are going to be people who favor this drink over that. There are going to be people who favor this type of indoor cycling over that type. And it's cool because we can all roll together. So, I think that's such a great mindset.
Yeah, I always say Under Armour didn't start because Nike existed.
Yeah, there you go.
You've got all the brands that there's so many brands that like I'm thinking about a store like an Ulta Beauty, right?
Yeah.
So many businesses have similar products and they all sit on shelves in this store and people go there. That's right. So I think every business has their value. It's just a matter of you creating that value and showing your worth.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's so great. Okay. So share with me then, you told me a little bit about your process. What to this point has been, would you say, the hardest part of this entire process?
I like to think that I'm a patient person.
Did we learn that we're not patient?
I'm starting to wonder if my patience comes in terms of teaching children because I deal with children all the time and I love them. They're so sweet. But working with children takes a lot of patience. And I'm like, yep, we're good at it. We're great. And then I got to this business and I learned I can have a timeline. I can care about my brand. I can give money to people to also care about my brand, but it'll never make someone care more than me.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be on their timeline regardless of what my timeline is.
Yeah.
And so patience and proper and thorough communication has probably been the biggest lesson that I've learned through this whole thing because it's not easy to sit with your hands tied knowing everything is not in your control. And everyone says, control what you can control. Well, I don't run the manufacturing facility that I'm waiting to have time to run my beverage. So when I can say, you know, originally, this is actually a fun fact. Maybe some people remember, maybe they won't. But my original product launch was supposed to be summer of 2023. And here we are in the winter, or rolling into winter, essentially. Yeah. And we still haven't been able to launch because my timeline and those that I'm doing business with, it's not the same.
At the same time.
And it's okay. And just like mellowing in that and realizing patience is important across the board.
Yes. So would you say with patience, do you think that is the biggest lesson you have learned throughout this journey? Or is there something else as well that you feel like has been the biggest learning piece of this whole journey?
I'd say everything kind of stems around patience.
Sure.
But I have this joke with myself where building this business has been like scaling a tower completely parallel to the ground.
That's a nice visual.
It's like, you know, everybody says, oh, well, everything that comes in its waves, right? But this is literally just the steepest incline. And so big important things that I've learned is like the value of quality control and having someone to double back and double check things, and not being afraid to say, hey, I need someone to overlook this and make sure there are no errors. That could have saved me lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of money. That's a big key. I've also learned a lot about, I like to say that I'm like pre-FDA certified. That's probably not legal to say, but like I had to learn everything there is to know about FDA regulations in regards to putting a label on a product. I have learned a lot about trademarks that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like in general, there's just the learning curve in the beverage space is there's just so much, and it's such a new space that I feel like every day I'm learning something new. Every day is a trial. Every day I find an error to learn something new. And I guess that could be another big key is the fact that setbacks are things that teach you greater lessons that you would have never learned before.
Mm.
So viewing everything as like, it had to happen, really locking into divine timing, and understanding that like I have a plan in my mind, but like God's plan is obviously going to be the one that's going to take precedence and send me in the
Yeah.
direction where I'm intended to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, just like so well said. I think that's a lesson we can all learn with our journeys and our goals. And when we're going after something, it's like, yeah, you can have this vision in your mind, but you are going to face hurdles. You're going to face setbacks. You're going to learn hard lessons. It's going to take time. It could take money, whatever your journey is, and know that path, it's building you, it's teaching you, you're growing throughout that. And what a perfect example of that. So so you design this product. I'm still like kind of fascinated to your point. Like there's so much you have to think about. So beyond like the most basic developing the product, like the taste, what's in it, mixing up your juice at home. Then you have to like find someone that cans it, creates like your like logos. Do you work with a marketing person? I mean, like briefly, you don't have to go into all the details, but what are some of those big steps that you have to do in creating a product like this?
Okay. I'll actually take you back to the beginning where this is
Yeah.
actually another thing that I learned the hard way. When I had the product, I actually had a name back in June or July of last year. And I started building my investor pitch deck, all the things with this particular name. And so then the next month, I'm like doing all the trademark research. I spent the entire month of August doing nothing but research and getting the product development stuff going, only to find out that the name that I spent 2 months on at this point was impossible to use because of trademark and licensing. So,
Oh,
my first step, if you're ever getting into any kind of business, is pick a name, do your trademark research, but then pick 500 other names in case that one doesn't work. So
smart.
the trademark path was a very interesting because you can't come up like Go Brazy Energies here. You can't actually put a name on a product with no, or you need in order to get it on the product and put it on the shelves and sell, and then not get a cease and desist letter. You need to make sure that your trademark is at least somewhat approved. So right now, my
Ah,
cans are seen with like the TM, and that
yeah.
stands for trademark pending. And hopefully, when my trademark actually goes to file at the end of this month, it takes 30 days, and then it hopefully becomes a registered trademark. So all
Okay.
of that to say, once we had a final name, then I was able to start working on a logo. But
Okay.
before the final name was official, I had a logo and it was really disappointed because I'm like, I can't even use this name anymore.
Oh
So
no.
trademark, then logo. And all this is happening while the formula is getting done. And
Okay.
so from there, we got the logo. And then that's when we started the design process for what the actual wrap around the can looks like.
Very
And
cool.
we started that in January and finished right in June, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow, that's a
And
lot longer than I would expect.
uh I learned a lot of lessons. I learned go with your gut. That was another big lesson for myself is go with your gut and don't always feel like everyone knows more than you. You can
Mm,
always learn and catch up because fun fact, I actually hired someone to design my label and then I wound up designing it myself because our visions just didn't collide. And that's
yeah,
okay because I like
sure,
to, as an artist, as a choreographer, I like to
sure.
respect other artists and know that like our visions will never be exactly the same, but being able to connect is so important. So whenever it
Yeah,
comes to hiring a design team, make sure you're on the same page. I made that mistake. And so I wound up literally saying, hey, this is exactly what I want. Here's my Canva document. Copy paste and put it on the lay flat for artwork approvals for the cans.
yeah.
And so that's how we got here.
And it's so
So
cool. It's a great look. I love your
thank
branding, the
you.
colors, the lightning bolt. Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was, I mean, I just kind of had a vision and I just went with it. So yeah, trademark, name, logo, can label design, and then the race to find a manufacturer that could produce.
Okay.
Unfortunate reality is I'm in the southeast of the US. So being here, if you're not like the big wigs, no one wants to talk to you because, you're batch size is so small in the beginning.
Sure.
They're like, you're just going to lose money on producing your beverage, so we'll just wait until you're a big dog. And I'm like, come on, there's so much manufacturing here. Nope, they don't
Yeah.
care. I learned that the hard way. So I actually I think I probably had about 15 to 20 different manufacturing meetings before I found 4 that seemed to fit the needs that my brand had and were able to produce the size that I wanted on with the time that I had available. And so we're getting into the summertime. So this is the busiest time of the year for these particular cans. And if you can think about it, it's what you call a 12-ounce sleek can. And everybody's favorite canned beverages are in these things right here.
That's right.
So with that being said, everybody's line time is just like booked until December. And I'm like, but I want to launch it in the summer. Please get me in. So that was a lot of like back and forth and trying to get everything done. And then finally, I'm like, okay, we found a manufacturer. Like I said, we found 4. And I actually rated all 4 of these manufacturers from a relationship standpoint aside from what the bill would be to get everything done. And so I went with the manufacturer that could get me in the soonest, and with the specs that I thought were great.
Yeah.
And so they're based out of the Northeast. So we had to lock in a date, and then I'm like waiting. My original production was supposed to be in June. Then the next date was supposed to be July 1st. Then the next date was supposed to be middle of July. And then the next date was July 30th, and that was the last date that it was supposed to be. Nope.
Okay.
August 15th.
August 15th.
So we wound up, that was 2 months out from its original planned production date. And then that was a trip that I took with my dad, who I call my CFO. My dad he just exists in that business. And then my little brother, who I also call my security. We went to New Hampshire, and we went to the facility as the first thing they did is they batched the product. So they took the ingredients list that I gave them and said, okay, these are everything we need. Put it into the batch. We tasted it the night before, and then the next day they ran it. It all went into the cans. All the sleeves were put on, and then they packaged it. And we had it back here. So that was it. And then we hit a little hiccup. But yeah, that's the process to get to at least a canned product.
How did that feel to see the product in the can and have that pick up and take that home?
I cried. And it wasn't even like a drastic, I cried. It was just like this is really happening. This is really happening. But the batch size was so big that we couldn't bring it all home with us. We only got to take a couple cases. And I'm like, yes,
sure.
This is like gold. Can we get an ETSA? Or getting our bags packed and everything and making sure none of the cans exploded on the plane. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? So that was a process on its own. But fun fact, I actually got home and I had one of those looking at it moments and just enjoying what I see. And that's when I noticed label error. And that's been the biggest holdup that exists, is the fact that we found the error on the label. That is the reason why we haven't been able to launch. So.
Oh, no.
I've probably cried almost every day since August 16th.
So close. So close. So then you literally could taste it and still. So then you have to redo, right?
Yeah.
You redo.
So that's where we're at right now. So you have options to sleeve your cans with that as a plastic wrap that goes on them. I don't know if you can hear it. Actually, this one, I was actually drinking this one earlier. So, but on this one, you can actually peel this off. Okay.
Sure.
So one option is and you're talking several thousands of units of product that have been cased, shrink wrapped, all the things.
Wow. Yeah.
So you have to go through, untake the plastic off the 12-ounce or the 12-pack case, and then you have to go through can by can and either take off these sleeves, or you can do what's called a cover-up sleeve. So when you get your first batch of Brazees and you see 2 sleeves, mind your business, because yes, that is the second sleeve. There's nothing wrong with it inside the can, I promise. But essentially, with what we're having to do is we had to get what's called a cover up sleeve. And essentially it's just a thicker version of the same sleeve that they're going to take and put on this so that everything is actually right.
Wow.
And because I don't have control over anyone's time but my own, I was hoping this was a 4 to 6 week process, and we're at week 11. Going into week 12.
Double it.
Yeah. So that's what we're waiting on now, is for them to reprocess and rework the can so that we can actually release them to the public.
Okay. So now, do you already have, like, there are some stores like in my town in Ohio, like local grocery stores that would take on products like these and distribute them and sell them. Do you have stores in your area that have already agreed to sell them? Are you just doing online sales? Like, how do you then get them to the people?
As of right now, we have several places that are locked in to carry Go BRAZEE energy.
Amazing.
And I think, and this is on the divine timing piece, I originally thought like launching online was going to be the best route. However, fast forward to holding a 12 pack in my hand and putting it on my kitchen scale to weigh and see how much it is, realizing that shipping is through the roof and it's the holidays. It's best for everybody to be able to maximize, their brazies by getting them in stores or getting them in local places. So I will have some direct to consumer stuff happening online, whether I can pick up locations in some of the places where I frequent. But for the most part, we're planning to distribute we might have a major retailer to announce soon in South Carolina, which will be really cool. If we can lock it in. And that would be the first batch essentially gone there. And so you'll have opportunities, I think, to get several cases online within the first couple that we can lift. But for the most part, finding them in local stores or being able to meet at the pickup spot to pick them up is how we plan to do the rollout. Because fun fact, distribution is very expensive for a small business. And to get into your big box stores, like let's say it's your favorite grocery store. Some of your favorite grocery stores have distribution companies that they go through to supply their shelves. And in order to get into the distribution company, it costs you money to get in there, money to stay in there, money to put your product on the shelf, and money for promotions. And when you're a brand new startup business, it's just not really ideal to go that route. However, being in the community of Charlotte, there's so much access that people are willing to say, hey, we support your brand. We'd love to carry it here. Or, hey, we'd love to carry it there. And we're actually going more towards the restaurant and nightlife scene. So look at hopefully your favorite bars and restaurants will be carrying BRAZEE soon for your mixed beverage needs.
Yeah. So it's not carbonated, right?
It's lightly carbonated.
Lightly carbonated. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like in between so bubbly is carbonated, but then you've got like a flat Coke.
Yep.
We're like right here.
That's good to hear, because there are some like energy drinks that are super carbonated and they make me feel uncomfortable when I go to work out and stuff. So like having a little bit less, but also too, like I've had other energy drinks that are like specifically not carbonated, and I'm like, that just is kind of off. It just feels off. So I think that sounds like a great blend. So you're telling me that if I want this in Ohio, I have to watch for when you first launch and try to grab a case towards the beginning. Is that how I can get one, at least in Ohio, to try?
Yes.
Okay.
That's going to be it. Get on our email list, subscribe, because our email list knows first.
So I did that. And so I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. Now, I also saw on your website, and you have this adorable sweatshirt on, that you do have some merchandise. So are you shipping that merch? And is it available now?
Yes. Shipping merch, and it is available now. Go BRAZEE Energy sweatshirts. They're so comfy. I love them.
It looks
teal and black.
It looks so comfy. I'm definitely going to get myself one of those. Okay. Here's another question, because my favorite TV show when I travel that I watch every single time is the Shark Tank. Is this like a future, like I heard you already say you have an investor, but I'm thinking like the Mark Cuban basketball matchup here, like there's potential for you on this show.
Shark Tank, call me, because I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And I would love to take a stab on the show. And I think it would be so cool from like a brand awareness standpoint. It's really impactful for brand awareness. And then two, bringing someone on board who knows the beverage space a lot better than me would be a major key.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think maybe you should fill out an application or something, because I'm rooting for you. I'd love to see you on it, but I'm rooting for you in general. Britt, this is awesome. This is just really fascinating to someone like me who knows nothing about not only creating a brand, because like I started my own spray tanning business, so that was like its thing, but you're like developing a product, like an actual, like that's just in the food product. So like to your point, there's like the FDA and like all these other aspects of like legal things hoops you have to jump through. So it's just good for you. What a huge project to take on, but it sounds like an amazing product. I cannot wait to taste it. I am subscribed to the email list, so I am grabbing that when my opportunity comes up. Is there anything else specifically about the product that you would like to share before we wrap this up?
I mean, I don't know if I missed the point that it's got electrolytes in it that are good for hydration, and it's like a tailgating phenomenon, especially if you're a college tailgating friend like myself. We've been really on the tailgate scene, especially Go Gamecocks in South Carolina. But yeah, it's my goal for it is to really impact people's lives in a positive way and give you a one-stop shop, grab and go. So you've got your electrolytes, your BCAAs if you need recovery as well, and then on top of your caffeine to keep you going. So we're there for you in the moment you need it most.
What are the flavors?
So we have one flavor, and this is our inaugural flavor, and it's sweet and sour watermelon.
Ooh.
And if you had to pick your favorite candy that's really chewy and rhymes with match, it's very similar. That was our flavor profile guidance.
Yeah.
So
very cool. It sounds so good. So I wrap up every show, Britt, with just like words of wisdom of life, whether it's a lesson you learned throughout this journey. And you've given us a lot of like really great mic drop moments here of things that we can just kind of take with us. But if you had to say, like, you have one moment with the mic to like share something to impact people, what would you share with them?
I always say someone's going to do it. If not you, then who?
Make it you, baby.
That's you. I mean, you have a choice, and everybody's choice is to do whatever it is that they want to do. And if you make that choice to do it, make it happen and stay focused, stay committed to it. Never give up on it. I think that's probably my favorite thing about this is that regardless of how hard it gets, not once in my mind have I said, I'm not capable. I am. It's just getting through the tough patch. And once you get through it, manifesting the future, that's going to be a lot simpler than what we're going through now, but it's going to be so worth it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Britt. This is great. We got our eyes. We are watching for Go Brazy when it hits the shelves down in Charlotte, where we can get on the email list and get a case shipped to us. And I'm going to buy a sweatshirt in the meantime. So thank you so much. Best of luck to you. For everybody who's listening, I hope you have a great day because you deserve it.